me like that. I catch my friends at the keychain area closer to the counter and try to blend in with the crowd. I begin to tell them that this crazy lady was trying to murder me. After my unsuccessful attempt to get everyone to leave just as they handed in their papers, I hear a loud screech of someone speaking away as if they were condescendingly speaking to someone they perceived to be mentally slow. She said, "Your worker attacked me." This came with its own flailing of hands and trying to mime out the phrase. I see this poor manager on the verge of breaking down after dealing with waves of demanding Disney fans and being yelled at in a language he barely understands. At this point, I've just been freshly called a homophobic slur from running away from the woman and make the decision that no one spooks me twice. I stride towards the
homophobic slur, yeah, this totally happened.
Woman and kindly say to the manager in Chinese, I said, "She's crazy and just tried to hit me because she thought I worked here and I didn't want to help her." All the while, she freaks out and keeps yelling, "That's him! That's him!" Obviously, the manager tunes her out because he actually understands what I'm saying, and he tells me he would call the security, but there aren't any available at the moment. Soon enough, the woman gets agitated and grabs the manager and starts shaking him, screaming at him to fire me. The manager just shoves this woman off, puts a finger in her face, and says in his broken English, "No touch!" She realizes what happens and started stumbling a couple of steps back and flops onto the floor. She starts flailing around and screaming. At this point, the entire store's customers, including the girl that I was helping and my church group, have gathered around and started watching this woman act like a toddler. A bunch of people start pulling out their phones and filming this crazy white lady making a mess at Disney. After she realizes that no one gives a fuck about her and her childish behavior, she begins to shift back into anger. She says, "Never in my life has anyone disrespected me like this. 6 years in China. You guys are the worst." She says that as she points her sausage fingers at me. At this point, all eyes are on me, and this becomes one of those moments I would regret and would replay every night for the next 35 years if I don't speak my mind. Fuck you. That was it. That was all I could come up with, but thank God she kept talking. She screams, "No, fuck you. You're a rude brat. I'll make sure my husband gets you fired. You ruined my boy's day." I said, "Well, go ahead. I don't fucking work here. I don't need to do anything for you, you bitch." At this point, she's still on the floor, so I just turn around and walk towards my youth group. We ended up going to the Cheesecake Factory, and I got to tell the rest of my youth group, and my leader chewed me out for not being a good Samaritan, but also agreed that she's kind of a bitch. This story's titled, My Second Karen Encounter, and I Was Prepared. I'm in Sydney, Australia, and not long ago I had an encounter with a classic Karen in a Target. At the time, I mentioned my liking for Bruce Willis phrases, but this isn't relevant to this little story. I'm just amazed that I encountered another one. So there I was, wearing business clothes in a large pharmacy, just looking at the protein powders. I was picking them up, reading them, and returning them. I heard the click-clack of high heels coming towards me, and I turned around to the sight of an attractive lady in her 40s, who looked like she was dressed for a stage show or a brothel. She had the classic, speak to your manager haircut, but was teased up really high. She also had enough makeup to impress a drag queen, and a tight dress that was mid-thigh, with black fishnet stockings and huge heels. She stopped right in front of me and started whining. She says, "So why have you only got one checkout open? Don't you realize that people can't spend all day waiting to be served? You should have more open, or at least some of those self-checkouts." There were only 2 people in line for checkout with hardly any items. I said, "Why are you telling me?" Then she responded with, "As a goddamned manager, you should be paying more attention to what's happening in your store." I told her that I don't work here and that I'm just shopping, and then she told me to get another checkout opened. I said, "Look at me," and she tries to interrupt. "No, look at me. I don't fucking work here. Now fuck off and leave me alone." By this stage, the checkout was completely empty. She started yelling at me. She started telling me that I shouldn't dare to speak to her like that, and I told her to shut up and that there was no line anymore and she could go get served. She then told me that she'd be complaining about me, and I said, "Which part of I don't work here do you not understand?" And then she says, "What? I told you that I don't work here, but you didn't listen." And then she came to realization. She said, "So you don't work here?" And I said, "No, I'm just looking at the protein powders. I'm a customer." Then she had a change of tone. She said, "Shit, Sorry, hon, I got a little bit worked up there. I'm a bit stressed, you know? I told her no worries, and then she apologizes and leaves. Then she totters off on her skyscraper heels, and I stood there watching her mighty nice rear view as she left. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. I hope you guys enjoyed these stories and found them entertaining. If you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also, sharing the video would be really helpful. See you guys in the next one. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Petty Revenge. In this episode, I'm gonna go over 3 petty revenge stories that I'm sure you'll enjoy as much as I did. So let's get started. Back in high school, I was working in a small Asian fusion restaurant. I loved this job and had the most amazing coworkers ever. Of course, we had some rude customers come in, but they were usually few and far in between. But this woman was the craziest customer I've ever encountered in my 4 years of food service. During the dinner rush, the phone rang to place a to-go order, so I picked up the phone and gave my usual cheerful greeting. A very nice-sounding woman named Sandy politely ordered fried rice, which was pretty typical. However, things got strange after that.
Why is there nothing here? I killed like 200 zombies. That was like 30 or some shit. It was a lot of zombies though. How did I get 30 of them and now it's just gone? Did I kill all of them? So are they like cows? Like you need 2 of them to have more spawn or whatever? It's not something I enjoy. Ooh, here we go. Here's the guys.
She asked for pineapple in the rice because pineapple is moist, and she likes having moist pineapple because the rice is dry. Not thinking too much of it at the time, I added pineapple to her order and told her the time to come pick it up. The kitchen made the order and I packed it up so it would be ready to go